We have also on the line is the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, Honorable Najib Balala. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Morning to you.
Thank you very much for joining us in the Situation Room. This is Eric Latif. We also have Siti Muga and Nduoko.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Morning.
Now, Mheshimiwa, we know that the COVID-19 is here. It's already having an impact, especially in the docket that you hold, tourism docket. A number of tourism actors have already been hard hit. Hotels are closing down. Others are sending their workers home on half pay or no pay on those kind of measures. What kind of overall, from where you see it, what kind of impact do we have so far? Have we seen so far on of COVID-19 on the tourism sector?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a new station, I'm told, and I'm excited that this is spicing the country's mentality in how do we discuss in real issues and current affairs. But yes, I want to say also this coronavirus crisis, it's real. It's going to affect us if we are not careful. And for us in the tourism industry, we have made a decision that the first thing we will do is to support any initiative to contain the situation. Yeah. Because without containing it, it will spread to all of us, it will affect us, there'll be no businesses tomorrow. We have been affected badly in the hotel industry, hospitality industry, because you could see all our facilities are shut down. Yeah. We employ almost 500,000 people directly, and we generate $1.67 billion for the country. And if you include wildlife, we generate almost $2 billion revenue for the country. Yeah. So we are badly affected, and it will create more problems if we don't contain the virus and also see how best we can open up as fast as we can. But again, as I understand that this disease has not even been bad for Kenya. Yeah. And I want to say that the government did everything to contain it, and the action taken are the right actions. If I compare with the rest of Africa, we are very much ahead at Kenya. Yeah, we are even ahead than Egypt. And the good thing is that we are still in the single-digit number every day when they make the announcements. Yeah. That is good news. But the only thing is that I appeal is that the people must adhere to the measures that are put forward by the Ministry of Health. If we don't do that, we will have no businesses to open tomorrow. But in terms of the effect that the tourism had, it is actually the whole sector economy is shut down. The small window which is open is the food industry, which is for only takeaway. Yes. But all other facilities are shut down. And I can tell you, Eric, even if we open up in 2 months' time or in 3 months' time, the traveler behavior will change. The desire of destinations will change. Everything will change. This is a paradigm shift for all of us in the industry to reflect and to think, what can we do better so that we have tourism that is sustainable? And also, it is something that we must appreciate, that it will have an effect for a longer time, not just when this coronavirus in 3 months' time is over. Yeah, because our recovery is going to take at least 18 months. And let me give you the plan. The plan is that immediately there is stabilization, probably in July, August. People will work hard to try to get money and to save money for them to travel. Then the priority to travel will not be Africa or far destinations. The priority travel will be within, because until there is assurances that the health systems in far destinations are strong enough so that we don't have a repeat of the virus coming back again. So that is the worry we have in the far destinations or long-haul destinations like Africa. Yeah, but I can tell you, whatever we are doing in Kenya, we are much, much ahead of many countries in the world. The only thing I appeal again is that we must appreciate the measures put by the Ministry of Health. We must follow them up, and the issue of social distancing and the issue of masks are crucial for us to avoid this disease to go further.
Interesting, Mheshimiwa, that you've talked about a paradigm shift, especially in our local tourism sector. What ideas do you have so far for what is it that we can do? As you've said, the first quarter after recovery from this, the international traveler will not be looking for far destinations. But then we've got local travelers here in the country who may be looking for saving and doing local tourism. What can we do?
First of all, we have to think as Kenya for the domestic tourism.
Yes.
So we have to train our staff to make sure to appreciate the domestic market. So far, we are training staff only to appreciate the Mzungu market. That's one thing we have to do. We have to give products that are right for the domestic market.
Yep.
We have to give food and cuisine for the domestic market. Yeah, all those are paradigm shift is going to change. Yeah, but also we need to think in terms of out of Kenya, the region, and then Africa. It's a high time for me, and I represent the international community in the UN bodies.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the time for Africa to reflect and to develop inter-Africa tourism. But the only challenges we have is that we don't have infrastructure. We don't have, a regime that allow accessibility by fellow Africans in terms of visa, in terms of passport. Again, road network is not there, train network is not. You look at Spain. Spain received 82 million visitors. From where? Majority of them are from the neighbors and from Europe.
Yep.
Yeah, and France the same thing, and the UK and the same thing. Here we are not taking Africa or intra-Africa. We have 1.2 billion people in Africa. If we just have 300 to 400 million people traveling within the continent, that is good enough for us. So far, Africa, we only have 62 million people traveling within into Africa. So you could see the number is too small. 62 million. Yeah, it's very low.
Yep.
Yeah. And how do we encourage intra-Africa? But it doesn't happen overnight. It has to have open sky policies so the flights can be affordable. In Europe, to travel from one point to another is about $50 to $100 euros. Yeah, to travel from one point to another. Here, if you want to go from one point to another, is minimum $1,000.
Wow.
So that is the problem. That's why we in Kenya here, we must have a paradigm shift. It's not going to be business as usual where people made super profits and taking advantage of this dream of Europeans coming out of Africa, and they want to do it once in a lifetime. You will have Kenyans, black people who want to travel. They will travel every day. You must bring the cost down. And that is the paradigm shift the tourism industry must understand.
Mheshimiwa, it seems that it's something that's going to have to be collective mind change. People are going to have to come together across sector, whether it's private sector, whether it's government, across board. It's going to have to be collective. Do you think that the country is ready to do that, coming together to make this work?
They have no choice. They have no choice at all because there'll be no business. If they want to change, it is survival. It is not about choice. And yes, they have enjoyed all these profits or an easy way of developing tourism. So the domestic market a secondary benefit for them.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a collective change. It's a mentality. It's everything you can name it. Is because people have not got used to it. But the minute we get used to it, then the international market will be a secondary benefit for this. And I've seen South Africa. South Africa, their primary benefit is domestic.
Yes, domestic.
That's why everything is affordable in South Africa. You can get a cheaper hotel, you can get a cheaper flight. Everything is affordable. Yeah? But when you come to other countries, the rest of the sub-Saharan Africa, everything is expensive because we are just waiting for the out of Africa Mzungu to come in. And this is where maybe it's time for us to learn. And it's time for us to change. We will have no choice but to change. because there'll be no business to attract from Europe or from elsewhere.
Honorable Balala, when I hear you speak like this, I'm hearing words that have been said before by people who have held the same docket as you, and you've also held the same docket before. When you had travel advisories affecting our tourism market, same has been said, let's grow our domestic tourism market. Over the years, what is it that has made this not get to the full realization?
Actually, in the last 5 years, we did very well in domestic tourism. Mm-hmm. Domestic tourism, in terms of revenue, produced more than even the foreign tourism.
Good.
That is the good thing we have done. So we have experienced the value of domestic tourism. Mm-hmm. For example, Mombasa hotels survive only on the SGR and the domestic market. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Diani, 50% of their clients are domestic market.
Yeah.
So already there is already a taste of benefit from the domestic market. So people are aware. Now they are forced to continue with this. Then the rest of the country follows. And the rest of the country have no choice. They have to follow as well. Yeah. So even Masai Mara, where they think majority is foreigners, not anymore. Or otherwise, Masai Mara now is as good as closed because they dependent almost 90% on international
travel.
Yeah. If a flight from Nairobi to Masai Mara on a 12-seater plane is $300, who can afford it domestically? Nobody can afford. Yeah, but that Mzungu who comes in once in a lifetime wants to do that trip, they will pay for that trip. Yep. But not Kenyans and not Africans. So we have and remember, Africans' choices for vacation is not safari. They will prefer beach, they will prefer other forms of entertainment and vacation, but not animals.
But probably, Mheshimiwa, because this hasn't been marketed to them. Because when we look at tourism all over the world, the images that we see is beach. That's what we see as a holiday. But if there was concerted effort to market all the other products that we have in the country, probably people would go. Probably people would want to go into Mount Kenya, into the other places, the other circuits around the country.
That's very true, because safari is a niche product.
Yeah.
The normal vacation for everybody in the world is the beach.
Yeah.
And being away from home. So that is, but again, to go on a safari because it's an expensive product is a niche for very, very few. Yeah. But now we need to make sure that it's affordable.
Right.
So we need then to promote it to the domestic market. And the domestic market will consume it, obviously. Yeah. But again, as I said, we need to make it affordable.
True.
And this will be very painful for all of us who think that we have enjoyed all this time. And as you said, we need a collective effort to do it. Yeah. But again, there are no choices now. In the next 2 years, I can assure you, we will have less international tourists. We will have to depend on the domestic market. We will have to depend on the African continent. And the African continent, the government needs to wake up now and start building infrastructure to have connectivity within the continent so that they can all benefit from the 1.2 billion people who are in this continent.
Mheshimiwa, you are the government, you know.
Yes, we have done our best. We in Kenya are well networked in terms of infrastructure. We are well networked in terms of airline, but one country cannot connect the continent.
That is very true.
Yeah, we are the airline hub in Nairobi. We have at least the railway going up to Naivasha, eventually to reach up to Kisumu, connect with East Africa. Already we have done quite a bit on regional tourism. From our biggest market is from Uganda and Tanzania and Rwanda. Yeah, already we have that network. So it's not just about these markets near us, but it has to be the whole continent together.
What I'm concerned about, Mheshimiwa, is with the situation, the economic downturn that we're now experiencing, you've talked about a period where we would likely need in order to recover. But what will that recovery look like?
Well, because this crisis is evolving every day.
Yes.
So our focus is not even on recovery yet. Yesterday I had an international virtual call with people from Hawaii, from all over the world, and talking about what is the recovery plan from Africa. And we all agreed we cannot talk about recovery now. We have to talk about survival of humanity now. So it's not about even the tourism sector. It's about people surviving.
Right.
Luckily, in Africa, we are still at low numbers. Yeah, we are learning lessons from the other countries which have made mistakes, like Spain and Italy and the US. How do we make sure that we contain the situation? We don't allow those big numbers coming into Africa, because then we are aware that the health institutions in Africa are very weak. But if we do the right things now, we will be able to overcome it earlier or faster than those other countries. But again, it's a collective responsibility. So we have decided yesterday that our position first is containment. Then recovery will come as we continue with, or we are watching what is evolving worldwide. Because as you saw yesterday, President Trump has pushed the social distancing policy up to end of May. Yeah? I can assure you it will move up to the end of June. It will continue. So if we follow that way, then the recovery can only start, the campaigns can only start in the fall, which is now October, November, December.
So as you talk about survival of human beings, there's also the issue of survival of businesses. Businesses in the tourism sector have been hard hit. The measures that were announced by the president last week, there are those that have said, yes, they're good, but for a business that is not operating like ours, like in the hotel sector, maybe it does not necessarily give us much legroom. What other measures have the hotels come to you and asked that you take to the president and your fellow members of cabinet?
Of course, we have a whole raft of proposals from the hotel industry. They want us to remove VAT on the accommodation cost. But even if we remove it today, there are no people to come to the rooms. They wanted pay as you earn, all these statutory taxes to be deferred for the time being. And that is being discussed at a higher level. So there are some things that even the proposals are being made are not practical for now. It can be practical for the recovery to make the product cheaper. But for now, we need to save lives. How do we make sure that people have masks? How do we make sure people have food in their villages? How do we make people stay at home and not spread the disease? That is fundamental, and that has nothing to do with the economy or has nothing to do with the tourism sector. It is all of us to be committed and say this is the way we should do it.
However, at the same time, I'd expect that people who work for the Ministry of Tourism and those that work for example, for the Kenya Tourism Board would be thinking and would be coming up with plans of what to do afterwards. So you're not just also caught flat-footed at the end of this. Are we having those kind of meetings and discussions?
Of course, we are not sleeping at home. We are not on holiday. We are working. We are developing. We are on Zoom conference twice a day with my officers, myself. You have seen our video from Magical Kenya. About magic awaits you.
Very beautiful video, by the way. That was a very good video done by KTB.
So that is what we are working on. It will take some time. We are now in the situation room like yourself. That we are developing all these plans for now and for after.
Mheshimiwa Najib Balala, CS for Tourism, we thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. I hope we can talk with you soon in the near future to see how things are unfolding.
Definitely. Count on me.
Asante sana. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.